Do you feel angry at the older generation?
Humans keep saying we need to save the earth, but we actually need to save ourselves. The earth is going to live no matter what.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Grounded. This is going to be super fun and I'm really excited about this, especially because today we are going to get a rare chance to understand how our younger generation thinks, how they think that we should be solving the environmental crisis that we face today, and how they're leading us to act, how they're inspiring us to act by their own climate activism. So my name is Shelley. I'm your host and I am a software engineer and I'm currently redesigning my life to be more in tune with nature. And joining us is Ankita Vijayvergiya. Ankita is our
Hello.
host and she is also a technologist who is also the founder of NatureHealers.life. Hi Ankita. And
Hello.
And we are in conversation with Shivi Anand. So Shivi is a 16-year-old from Gurgaon and she is leading the fight on climate change in her school and her community. Hi Shivi.
Hello.
So Shivi, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. School's online and today's a Saturday, so more relaxed today. And I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's so great to have you here, and we are very excited to be talking to you, to be learning the things that we hope we could have done when we were 16-year-olds.
I love your mission, and I love the way you're going about things and making your endeavor to get more people to live sustainably really, really interactive and really engaging for people and fun so that they actually do it. And we start small and then make it a whole movement. I really, really like it.
So what excites me about you, Shivi, is the kind of creativity that you're bringing to solving climate change. Um, like you're reevaluating your own lifestyle, and I read that you are learning about the different complex aspects of climate change, not just the environmental degradation, but you're also thinking about the socio-economic aspects and about how you're also learning systems thinking, like you're learning to how to think systematically about different issues and how they are interconnected. So I really like that at such a young age you're thinking about it in a holistic manner, and you aim to build a self-sustainable and a minimalistic life for yourself in future. I read that you learned about waste management issue when you were in second grade. That's a lot to take in at such a young age. So I really wanted to know, I've always wanted to ask this from younger generation actually, is do you feel angry at the older generation for the for the path of harm that we are leading us? Um,
Into
I
leading us
I
in.
used to. I used to feel angry. But I don't anymore. I just realized that it's not doing me any good. If I'm angry and it wasn't sustainable for me to be angry and to be working out of anger. And when I was doing that, I just didn't feel good about it. And eventually I started straying from it because it didn't make me feel good. And I thought, if I'm coming from a place of just love and hope, it motivates me more than my anger. So I used to be angry, but I've chosen not to be anymore.
That's great.
about this generations thing, like I've been thinking about it for the past few weeks, and I realized one thing, that like the older generation, which is our parents, Shivi, not your parents, our parents, they actually evolved into the time when there was zero plastic, and then plastics was invented, and then it became such a big thing. And in fact, not just plastics, with every kind of commodity that we have right now with the use and throw culture. And so they were sold this with the idea of this is convenient, hence this is modern. So if you want to become modern, you have to go ahead and use this and use and throw and all of that. And our generation, millennials, we have actually grown up with that mindset. So most of us don't even know anything else. We feel like, okay, if we have to go to the market, we have to take plastic bags and then just throw them away. And so I think we are the first generation who are growing up with it. And so the brunt of making the change also falls on us. So we need to realize that there is something wrong with the way we have evolved, and we need to, I'd say, steer everything in the direction that it should go into for the long-term good of humanity.
So what you said about convenience, I think that's very interesting about how plastic is used for its convenience. And it is. And when I was working with plastic and like trying to reduce it, I talked to a lot of people who had very, very different opinions from mine. And like my math tutor, he told me about how when he was younger, he his parents wouldn't allow him to get biscuits from the big tin that would come in small shops where he lived, because, and that was without plastic, right? All the biscuits were in that huge tin, and you could just put your hand in and take out the biscuits. But his parents didn't allow it because it was unhygienic. And with plastic packaging comes better hygiene and more shelf life.
Yeah, we don't know where the packaging has been. We don't know who has touched it when it was being packed or after it was packed. Like, we think it is more hygienic. That's what we think.
Yeah, I guess. but I think that if something is packed in plastic, it is likely to be more hygienic than something that is less, like, more lightly packaged. And that's where like the whole dilemma comes of whether plastic is really like any, of course, benefits, and work on replacing its benefits, like replacing its actual function.
Yeah, exactly. So the one thing that we discuss with people when we do our Earth mission for plastics is that we shouldn't demonize plastic. Plastic is probably one of the best inventions humanity has ever done, because it is so versatile, it is so useful across so many things. But the uses that we have taken it into, those would probably need to be modified. For some uses, for example, plastics are used in aircraft, in cars, in automobiles. That is sort of non-replaceable. But it is also used and disposed of responsibly. But there are so many other types of plastics, especially the single-use plastics, which all they do is generate waste. So those kind of uses we need to evolve out of and become better at it as humanity.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, all the anger kept aside, all the gyan kept aside. Yes, waste is a big problem. Shivi, thanks for pointing that out to everybody around you as well. And thanks for everything that you are initiating within your community about it as well.
Thank you as well for your wonderful work.
Okay, so this leads me to our next question. Actually, this connects to our next question, and which is for both you, Ankita and Shivi. So Greta Thunberg, she's a Swedish teenager who has created this Fridays for Future, which is basically she's calling students to miss a day of school and to strike, to call attention that to the fact that we are destroying our ecosystem, and to call attention that our younger generation demands a brighter future from us. So I think everyone should listen to Greta's UN climate speech on Climate Action Summit that happened in 2019 in New York. It's a very powerful speech. So I think she has a very valid point, because around the awareness around climate change, I feel that there is not enough awareness. We are not talking about it in mass media. we even our younger even I mean my peers don't know enough about climate change, that we have only 10 years to really put us onto a path where we can stop the tipping points from happening, right? So
Yeah.
so I want to ask Ankita first what she thinks about how we can go about creating more awareness. And that's
I
what
think,
Nature Healers is doing too, right?
yeah, that is at the core of our business. And what we realized was awareness, because it's more like education, people are usually not open to receiving it. So, how do we make people more open to receiving it, and not just educating themselves, but using that education to take small steps to start making an impact immediately within their lives and within their communities? And so, awareness being such an important thing, it is very important to also deliver it in a way which is received and absorbed by the audience to the maximum. So, for example, if we look at classrooms, Shivi, I'm sure there are some teachers that you listen to very intently, and then there are some teachers and professors that probably most of the people sleep in. Most of the students sleep in their classes. And there's a major difference in which you would see the way that they impart the knowledge. In my experience, when I was studying and when we had teachers and professors, the teachers who were most boring were the people who were just giving a monologue. But there were some teachers and professors who used to make the class so interactive that they give you an idea and then they ask you a question that actually makes you think about it. And when you yourself think about something, that idea gets ingrained in your mind. It's not just somebody telling you, it's somebody showing you using your own mind power and your own thought process that if you are doing this, is this the right thing to do? Is there a better way of doing it? And with that, like with the creativity of kids, with the creativity of children, we actually come up with so many other much greater, much more creative ideas. What do you think, Shivi?
I agree. And I think what you said about making people think themselves about what they're doing and whether their beliefs are correct. So, what I think is really effective in my classes is instead of saying, like, okay, now you're at this step, now we're going to do this, like the teacher would ask, what should you do now? And then get an answer and then move on. And so
Yeah,
every time when you're just getting the answer from the students instead of saying it yourself, that's the most effective, I think.
that's right. Yeah.
And your school did a strike in March, and you initiated that climate strike, right? In March 2019. So, what was the atmosphere like at the strike, and what? And you spoke there as one of the speakers. What did you speak about?
I spoke about how that speech was kind of about like the older generation and how we need to make up for all the mistakes. Which I wouldn't repeat that speech now, but
Why
That's
wouldn't
interesting.
why wouldn't you repeat it?
Because
well
she was
maybe
angry at the older generation at that
yeah,
time.
What?
maybe some of the ideas I would repeat, but maybe not with the same tone. Like, of course, we need to have a lot of, we need to have drive to do things, but maybe not anger, as I said before. But yeah, it was mostly about
Now
um
you'll talk with them with a lot of love and like appreciation for doing things.
Like Buddha.
see when you if
Like
you talk
Lord
to me.
Buddha.
Sorry, what are you saying?
No, I just went a little spiritual on that. Like Lord Buddha, you change people with love, not with hatred.
See, if you talk to me a few years down the line, I'm going to say something completely different, but that's where I'm at right now.
That's what we are as humans. Evolved, yeah.
Yeah, so it was mostly about how we really like need to do something. Yeah.
Do you still believe in strikes though? Do you think that they are important?
I think they are so important. I think they are, I think everyone who's working toward the cause is doing, who in whatever way they're contributing, their work is important. And I think striking is really, really important. And we've seen that with Greta, and we've seen that with so many, movements in history. But me personally, right now, I don't think I want to be striking. And right now, where I'm at in life, I want to be doing more things and like thinking about solutions more than striking. Just because, again, the anger comes in, and I don't like the anger.
That's very profound, Yeah.
You often like sit at your home, not doing anything and just thinking about how your life is going, because that's what it seems like, that you would do a lot of self introspection.
I think I do. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a very like sensitive kind of person. And so I think I require that introspection to like heal from things, that have hurt me. But yeah, I think I need it. The kind of person I am, I just need to be thinking a lot.
Yeah, I think that's pretty important, understanding even all the issues that surround us. We can't just read about it on the internet, and
Yeah.
we have to introspect to understand
I
what it actually means.
Yeah. Exactly. I read a book recently. My mom recommended. It's called Untamed, and I would recommend it to everyone who's watching. It's
Can you?
Untamed by
What is
Untamed,
what? Untamed.
Untamed by Glennon
Okay.
Doyle. It's
Okay.
about unlearning the beliefs of society that have been imposed on you, and it's about going whenever you need an answer on what to do next. You sink. You go deep within yourself, and you find the answer within instead of looking outside. And I really, really like it. I would recommend it to everyone.
Awesome.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a term called eco-anxiety that people have these days, which essentially means people thinking and thinking and thinking about, oh my God, there's so much wrong in this world.
Yeah.
People are not doing enough. I can't do enough. The world is going to hell. And that gives people so much anxiety. Yeah.
It gives me anxiety as well. But I'm doing a subject called environmental systems and societies in school, and my teacher said a few classes ago, and it stuck with me. She said, humans keep saying we need to save the earth, but we actually need to save ourselves. The earth is going to live no matter what.
Yeah. There is a very popular YouTube video by a person called George Callan, and he has given this, and this is from the 80s. This is not from right now, and this is exactly what he says, but he uses humor to put that across to the audience. And that is just a very small video. I think it's a 5-minute video, and people love it when they see it. And he puts across the same point, like, we are not saving the earth. The earth will stay here. It has been here for billions of years. It will stay here for another billion. And it's us who's going to go extinct. So yeah, we are saving our own habitat.
Even
So
even some of the living species, they are going to live on. I mean, there
yeah,
species are destroyed. Like I read that 200 species die every day. But yeah. Okay.
An example of that is jellyfish.
Yeah.
An example is jellyfish. They're like taking over the world, and they're thriving despite global warming.
Which
Which
what?
one?
Jellyfish.
Jellyfish, right? Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're
quite
thriving,
funny.
and
Yeah.
it's some ecologists say that they predict that very soon the sea is going to be full of just jellyfish. Every other species will go extinct.
Interesting. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
This was in grade 5. So you started something called Ecoholics, and you asked your school to make school transport mandatory.
So we wrote an email, and as far as I remember, they were really appreciative of our effort, and it was part of a project that every student was doing. So in our group we chose to call ourselves the ecoholics, but people were doing whatever they wanted. And the school principal told us that they had tried before and they had thought about it, but they couldn't, and it just wasn't possible in our school because some students needed to come in their own vehicles for personal reasons.
Were you disappointed when it didn't happen?
Yeah, I was 11 years old. I was quite disappointed.
Yeah, at that age, we usually feel like, oh, we've got to change the world.
Yeah.
But then slowly reality creeps in. And we realize that we can only do it like small steps at a time. The world is not going to change overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there is a lot of stigma around that. So if an individual says that I want to change the world, like you start an initiative or you take a small action and you say that you want to change the world, people kind of think that that
ये
you're
कौन है? ये क्या करेगी?
about it. हाँ, ये क्या करेगी exactly. But now I have realized that we have to believe that we are going to change the world. Like if we shoot for the moon, we will at least be among the stars, right?
Yeah.
It's
there's a very famous saying that I put in my signature. It's by a lady called Margaret Mead, and it goes like something like, the only thing that has ever been able to change the world is a small group of very dedicated citizens. So you can never think that I'm just one person or we are just few people and we cannot change the world. That is what we actually need to change the world.
yes.
And I think we
high level toxic.
it's fun. I love it. It's so fun.
अपने पॉडकास्ट का नाम ग्राउंडेड है, थोड़ा ग्राउंड पे आते हैं.